Hey everyone. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about Pixar Pier. I mentioned it a few days ago when they first announced it at D23, but I wanted to kind of dive a little deeper and go over with you the pros and the cons of this re-theme of Paradise Pier. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When they first initially announced Pixar Pier, I was really bummed out. I really hated this whole notion of, re-theming Paradise Pier to just all Pixar. Okay, now that I've had some time to sort of, absorb the information and kind of think about it, I think there are some good things that can come out of this, and I think there are some negative things that can come out of this. I'm going to talk to you guys about both of those. Let's go over with the negative first. The negative thing is the big elephant in the room. Okay, the Mickey's Fun Wheel. The Mickey's Fun Wheel has become an icon of Disney California Adventure. I love that Ferris wheel. It looks aesthetically, it looks great. It's fitting to have Mickey. He's obviously the most iconic character in the Walt Disney Company, the closest character to Walt. It makes sense to have him as the icon. So to lose him for like the Pixar ball or the Pixar lamp or even like Mike Wazowski or whatever they're planning on replacing him with seems like a real downgrade. Okay, that's the biggest negative in my opinion for Pixar Pier. I do not like that change at all. Another negative thing, and this is sort of a little bit more this is more slippery slope kind of stuff. But we just had Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Which I love. Okay, I love Guardians. I love Mission Breakout. But what they did was they took an old attraction in Tower of Terror and they re-themed it to Guardians. Okay, and actually I've been one of the big defenders of Mission Breakout because I understand the need for that because they are adding the Marvel back there, so they needed to do something with Tower. So I get that. Okay, I respect that. I understand that. But my issue now with Pixar Pier is that I'm worried this is going to be a trend where Disney's going to build attractions and swap the theme out every 5, 6, 10 years. I do not want that. The thing about Disney parks that I love is when they build an attraction, it's there. It becomes a staple. It becomes an icon. And it becomes a tradition. I don't want to have them get into this like tradition or trend or whatever you want to call it of building attractions and then swapping themes out every few years. I do not want that. And with Pixar Pier, I feel like they're going in that direction. It worries me a lot. So that's, aside from the Mickey's Fun Wheel, that's my second biggest worry, is that we're going to be seeing multiple themes of different areas of Disneyland or California Adventure or even the parks in Florida where they're taking existing rides and they're just re-theming them. That's a real slippery slope and something I really don't want to see them go, a direction I don't want to see them go in. Okay, so those are the two real big negatives, in my opinion, for Pixar Pier. Let's go to the positives. What are the positives for Pixar Pier? Well, even after DCA 2.0, when they redid the whole pier and they added the Mickey's Fun Wheel and the Silly Symphony swings and all the nice Victorian boardwalk games, there were still elements of that pier that were really lacking. Okay, a couple in particular, the California Screamin' queue is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. You can completely see the Anaheim Convention Center behind it. And that's largely due to the fact that the queue for Screamin' is open air. There's no building there. All it is those vinyl, overhangs, so you can see right through it. So when you're coming in from like Paradise Pier and you pass Cobar and you turn that corner, all you see is a convention center. Okay, so if there's a positive for Pixar Pier, it's that there's a chance and a good chance that California Screamin' will get a proper themed queue, maybe like an indoor building, finally, and that whole queue and that whole attraction will be plussed. That's a good thing. Another good thing is the King Triton Carousel. Okay, they've made improvements to it over the years, but overall it's pretty lacking. It looks pretty cheap. So I'm hoping with this new Pixar Pier overlay that they really address that carousel, make it look more ornate, a little more detail, something that's just a little more impressive. Right now, it still looks like DCA 1.0. It looks pretty cheap. So those two things need to be addressed with this Pixar Pier. The third thing is the old Maliboomer site. They completely destroyed the Maliboomer, and good on that, because the Maliboomer was extremely ugly. I'm glad they got rid of the Maliboomer, but they never replaced it with anything. They put a bunch of like planters, like temporary looking planters and some trees, and they put them there for the meantime. That's great, for a few months, but there really should be something there. So at least now with Pixar Pier, there's the possibility that we'll get some sort of attraction or even a kiosk or like a food thing or something in that spot. That's a positive. Okay, another positive is Goofy's Sky School. I'm not a huge fan of Goofy's Sky School. It looks very cheap. It's better than Mulholland Madness was. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you that, but it still looks pretty cheap. So with Pixar Pier, again, it opens up the opportunity to really plus that attraction and make it better. So there's some opportunities here with Pixar Pier to really enhance some of these old attractions that really never got a whole lot of love in 2.0, and really enhance those and make them more up to par with Disney quality. Okay, now the last and final pro for this new area is with this whole pier becoming Pixar. It really opens up the door for DCA to receive attractions based on Pixar movies that they normally wouldn't have had the chance to get if they didn't have a whole area themed to Pixar. Let me explain. If it was Pixar, if it was Paradise Pier, right? The chances are on that version of DCA, there wouldn't be really a thematic reason to have like an Up attraction or Ratatouille or Incredibles. Okay, DCA would probably never see those kind of attractions. But now that we have a Pixar Pier, we can get an Up dark ride. We can get an an Incredibles dark ride or a Ratatouille trackless dark ride that Florida is getting. Those attractions now are a possibility for DCA because we have Pixar Pier. That is a good thing. That's a positive thing. It really opens the door for those Pixar films to be added into that park, and that's positive. I definitely think that's a positive sign. So those are my thoughts on Pixar Pier. Overall, at first, initially, I was really against this idea. I'm still iffy on it. I'm not 100% sold on it. It really depends on how they execute the concept and what they want to add to this area. If we get a really nice re-theme of the California Screamin' queue and the carousel, and they add a couple dark rides to the pier, themed to Pixar, I think the trade-off is worth it. If it's a cheap overlay where they tack on a bunch of Pixar signs and call it a day, losing the Mickey sign and the Paradise Pier theme was not worth it. So it really depends on what direction they go with this. We'll see. We will definitely see. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think. What are your pros? What are your cons? What are you worried about? What are you happy about in terms of Pixar Pier? Let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate all the support. Like, subscribe, and as always, have an incredible day. Bye-bye.